Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Hope everybody's doing all right. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jessica. I'm a woman in long-term recovery, and on my channel, I talk about recovery, substance use disorder, harm reduction, trauma, etc., all things like that. If you're not new here, thank you guys so much for coming back. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Today, I want to talk to you guys about some stuff that's kind of hard to talk about, but needs to be talked about. And I just want you guys to bear with me. Keith and I are passing a cold back and forth between each other, and I do not feel very good at all. So, if I have to cut the video short, you know why. But, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about my childhood. And I know that I have talked about it on here before, but I also know that a lot of people that grew up in like the 80s and the 90s and anytime before then kind of, you know, were raised in a time period where parents very freely spanked their children as a form of discipline. And to be completely honest with you, you know, I had Danielle in 2000s. And she was born in 2000. And you know, I did spank Danielle. Not a lot because she was such a good child, but you know, there's unless you recognize it and you try really hard to reverse it, you live what you learn as you're growing up. So, you know, Danielle was in no way, shape, or form beaten or anything like that. But when I was growing up, my stepdad was in charge of all the discipline. And he had a paddle that he was very proud of that he had made out of a piece of oak. It's probably about that thick. You know, had a handle on it and everything. And that's what we got our spankings with when we were young. And by young, I mean all the way up until our later teenage years. So, not just like being young kids, but some of my earliest memories of my stepdad are him with that paddle. But I tell you guys that to tell you this because my daughter and I have like a very odd relationship with my mom. So my daughter's grandma. Because we both love her and we miss her, and you know, she chooses not to spend a lot of time with us. But there are certain times, you know, that Danielle, my daughter, will want to see her grandma. And, you know, my daughter's technically considered an adult now, so she gets to do whatever she wants, even if I don't want her to. But Danielle's got a lot of life changes that are coming up. Her and her long-term boyfriend are getting ready to move out of the state. It's the first time in Danielle's life that she's going to be living this far away from her family, such as it is. So, you know, she's got a lot of big changes coming up. She recently graduated from college, etc. And, you know, sometimes Danielle just wants to see grandma. And so the other day she got out of she got out of an appointment that she had, my daughter did, and she wanted to go see her grandma. And, you know, I don't mind when Danielle goes and sees my mom. It really sets me on edge and gives me a lot of anxiety when Danielle like has to go to my mom's house because my stepdad is there. And I know how he is. And I know that Danielle is at and has been at the point in her life where he doesn't look at her and think of disciplining her. He looks at her in a very inappropriate way. He makes inappropriate comments to her all the time. He's just, you know, I don't like Danielle to be around him, and Danielle typically tries not to be around him at all. But anyway, she went out there to see to see my mom, sorry, her grandma. And he was there. And I didn't know that she was going. She called me afterwards to tell me that she had been out there. And she called me afterwards to tell me that she had been out there and that she had seen my mom, um, because my mom was saying that she missed me. And that it had been a long time since we had talked, and it has been. Um, I probably haven't talked to my mom since our birthdays in June. Oh, maybe I talked to her in July, but either way, it's been several months, and I probably won't talk to her again until Christmas if we remember to text each other on Christmas Day or if she answers me. Because sometimes I text her and she doesn't answer me, no matter what is going on. And Danielle and I were on the phone and she was telling me that, and she told me that my stepdad heard my mom telling Danielle that she missed me, and that it had been a long time since we had talked. So, of course, my stepdad is, he's got to put his 2 cents in. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, Jessica, I hate her." That's my daughter that you're telling that to. And sorry guys, I'm going to try not to get upset about this. And that's another part that pisses me off, is because it does upset me. Um he knows how I feel about him. He doesn't I'm not sure if he knows why, but he knows that the hate is mutual. And I hate to say that because hate is such a strong word. And I've really done a lot of work to try to forgive him. Not for him, but for me. And, I've talked to my dad about it. I've talked to Keith about it, and I stumble over that a lot. Forgiving him. And forgiving my mom for letting him do all the stuff to us that he did. And, I tell you guys this not because I want to come on here and share some tragic story and people feel sorry for me, because I don't. And that's why I don't share a lot of my story about my childhood, is because I have a really hard time with it. And that's not what I want to focus on. I don't want to focus on all the trauma of my childhood. Um I know that I have to deal with it, and like I said, I know that I have to find a way to forgive them. But I try really hard not to focus on it. I have a really hard time at the holidays. Jackass. He makes me so mad. He would get such a kick out of the fact that I'm crying because he told my daughter that I hated him or that he hated me. He would get such a kick out of this. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. I don't. I'm saying that I don't want to focus on, all the things that have been done and that have happened between us. And I don't. And I don't like to talk about it in depth. So I typically don't. Well, when my daughter called and told me that, you know, um, I did get upset. And I got upset because he told my daughter that he hated me. What a shitty person to do that, right? And in my eyes, he's traumatizing my daughter the same way that he did me. You know, you don't ask to see pictures of your quote unquote grandchild in her bikini. And you don't tell your grandchild that you hate their mother and their father and all of their father's family, because he does. He tells her that all the time. The only time he doesn't act like this is if she has her boyfriend with her. And, obviously he wasn't with her this time. But that's what makes me mad about it. It makes me mad that he's just adding on, to it for as long as he can. And it makes me mad that my mom just sits there and lets him talk about me that way. I'm her child to her grandchild, her firstborn grandchild. That makes me really mad. So at first I was really upset about it, and I cried about it, and I got really pissed off. Um, and then the more I thought about it, it occurred to me that in a way, I'm trying to think of how to say this, but ever since I've gone on this healing journey, not just like from my substance use disorder, but trying to go to therapy and doing counseling and doing groups and stuff like that. There's always been this voice in the back of my head telling me that my childhood wasn't as bad as what I think it was. And that is really hard. It's really hard to doubt yourself about something that took up such a big chunk of your life. And it does, if you've never experienced that, it does crazy things to your mind and how you think. And there's always been that voice in the back of my head telling me that, it wasn't that bad, that I was just being over dramatic, because my brother doesn't get as upset about it as I do. And, 2 things happened. I got on my favorite hated app, TikTok, and there's a lady that I follow on there that, has had a very similar path in her life as me, and she is a firehouse. Like, she is a firehouse, and I love her. And, when I was on TikTok, one of her videos popped up, and she was talking about, the same thing about how sometimes people with trauma, the people around them will doubt it or downplay it. And she said, "Yeah, that's because for me, it was traumatic, and for you, it was a Wednesday." And as soon as I heard her say that, I was like, "Oh, wow, that's so true." And I just want to tell you guys before I tell you the other thing, like, if I can remember, that that's so true, and if you're going through a similar situation like I am, and you think that stuff happened to you in your childhood that wasn't right, whether it was abuse or, assault of some kind, or just inappropriate behavior, or, whatever the case may be, and you have friends or family members that make you doubt it, don't let them do that to you. Don't let them take that and twist it around in your mind, because it just makes it harder for you to heal. And something else that I wanted to share with you guys is that it's okay to cut people out of your life, even if they're family. Just because they have that title doesn't mean they get to stay. Just because they have that title of mom doesn't mean they get to stay in your life if their presence in your life is more detrimental to you than it is good, you know? Even though I, struggled with my addiction for so long, when my daughter was growing up, I cannot imagine treating her the way that my mom has treated me. I can't imagine letting somebody else treat Danielle the way that my mom let my stepdad treat me and my brother. I just I would die before I let that happen. I would so, just keep that in mind, you guys, just because somebody says that it wasn't traumatic, you know, don't let them have that much power over you because nobody else gets to determine the things that happen in your life that are traumatic for you or that aren't. They don't get to do that. And my brother, my older brother, he just doesn't struggle with our childhood as much as I do. And that's okay, because when we were in a certain situation together when we were younger, it might have just been a Wednesday for him. And it wasn't for me. So, I just wanted to share that with you guys and, tell you that if you are going through that, you're not alone. And I know how you feel. And to not let them have that much power over you once you're away from them, because they don't deserve it. And I don't care what their position is in your life. Like I said, I don't care if they're your mom or your best friend or whoever, whatever they are. Don't be afraid to cut them out of your life. Don't let them keep damaging you. Don't let them keep hurting you. Because it's not worth it, you guys. It's just not worth it. And this is one of the reasons why I'm such a big advocate for people going to therapy and finding a therapist that they can connect with and that they can share things with and, really open up to and learn new ways to deal with it and however you want to put it. I'm kind of stumbling over my words here, but uh, I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to end today's video here. Honestly, so I could go lay down because I don't feel good. And I don't want this video to run too long. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other and be nice to each other. Because you never know what somebody else is going through and what they hide behind their smile when they tell you they're okay. I love you guys, and I will see you on Friday.